Hello, class. So I just wanted to go over ways that you can save your work so you can submit it to the assignment in Moodle. So there's a few different options you have. First off, as all of you are aware from the lesson last week, you create frames, which is down here on the bottom to put your work into you, and you can decide what size the frame is. Doesn't really matter because it's a digital file, but probably just going with a paper size, which is down here, such as A4 or letter is a good size to work on. So I just made some objects to got it. I do not know what I hit there. Control Z on your keyboard undoes your last step always. I just made some circles so that I had something on a document to show you. So if I made, once I made one frame, I just copy and pasted it just to show you space. I'm just holding down my space bar, and then I get a hand tool. So if I want to move stuff around, that's very handy. Right now I have my move tool here, which is for not moving the entire page, but say I want to like move individual things. To grab a frame, I must go up where the name is here. So frame 2, and I can give these individual names as well. So that may be handy, particularly for export. You can just leave them as default right now. We can get into some of those, why you might want to name them at another time. If you hold down, I'm on a Mac, so it's Option. If I was on a PC, it would be Alt. I just holding that down, and you notice how my cursor becomes 2, and then I can make a copy. So that's one way to make another frame. Or I could just go Control C on my keyboard, Control V, if I am, and that will also copy and paste. And so that's just an easy way of creating more frames. Or I could just go down to my frame button and I continue to make them, but you can always make copies of things as well. Okay, so slightly off topic, just going over how you're going to export. So you're going to have a few documents. You're going to have one that has your photos on it, and it never hurts to make things look nice. I haven't actually made anything look great. I put one frame, my first one, you should always have a cover page that says what the assignment is, your name, and then please put in brackets if you go by a different name than the one that's on the attendance. So I know whose work it is when I look at it, and the date, and then maybe a nice, example of your design or something. As you go through, always think this is graphic design. I want my stuff to look as nice as possible. Down here is the text tool. So that's just how I wrote. You just drag a text box and you can just start typing in it. I select the text over here, and I can go under on my properties panel over here on the right. It says typography, and I can choose different fonts, different weights, different sizes, and make it look as nice as you'd like. All right, always make sure, and I named my document as we talked about last week up in the left-hand corner here. So just going back here, so I'm going to have one frame, leaving just as frame 1 that says will be my first page. Then I am going to have one that will have my 2 photographs. I'll just take these off of here to show you how you could, oops, I had more than one thing. It's always, you can see my frame was selected. To deselect, the easiest way I can use Command D on my keyboard, or I just click anywhere and it deselects. So I just grabbed these things because I'm going to delete them, and then I hit delete on my keyboard. The easiest way to bring a photo in is to just drag and drop it in. So I downloaded a picture of a dog just so I would have something to demonstrate. It is just on my computer, and I just drag it in and let go. And now it is in my Figma file. If I need to resize it, I want to make sure I don't squish it. And so the best thing to use, if you go down here, there's something called the scale tool. So rather than using the move tool, which does work, but it might make my dog kind of squished or pull it out long, I can go to the scale tool, and then it always keeps it the same proportion, which is kind of nice. And I just would have, Control V. I'm going to have 2 dogs, not 2 dogs, but you're going to have 2 photo examples. I would probably, it's always nice to put a little heading. So get your text tool and say, part 1 of assignment, photos, figure ground. It's always good to get in the habit of, labeling your work. And then I would have my designs, which are nothing like this, your figure ground designs. I say just putting stuff on here so you can see the different pages. And now I have 3 pages. There's a few different ways to export in Figma. So one of the ways, everything you submit in this course should be a PDF file, and that's because a PDF file, everything is bundled together, and it is going to look the same on my computer as it does on your computer, which is what I would like with grading. And so here there's with Figma, there's always, with all software, there's multiple ways to do things. And so the easiest way, if I want to just do everything in Figma here, is then I have these 3 frames and I just select a frame. I do it at the name point. And so where it says frame, and I hold down Shift and I select the next one, and I hold down Shift and I select the next one. And I know I have all 3 selected. This is called a bounding box. I see this blue line goes around everything. And when I have everything selected, oh, wait, I just closed Figma for a second. I've got a ton open on my computer. There we go. And then I can just go up to Figma and I go export frames to PDF. It's just under File, export frames to PDF. And then it just ignore all of this. Medium quality is fine. It makes your, I wouldn't go low, high. It just makes the file size bigger. So medium is probably good. If you feel like your photos don't look as good as you'd like them to at medium quality, you can just re-export at high quality. I'll leave it like this. I hit put export. I pick somewhere for it to go. I'll just use my downloads folder is fine. And then I'm just going to stop share and I will show you how it looked like. All right, so I just navigated to the folder, which was my downloads. That's not a great place to save things. You should make a folder for the course and have everything. It's always good to organize. I like to make a folder for each week if I have a course or something like that. So there's 13 weeks in the course, have everything week 1, week 2 with all my notes. You may have a different organizing system, but just make sure you have something that makes it organized. And you can see all of the pages exported into one nice PDF. And so that's, I think, the simplest way to do the assignment. I'm just going to go back to Figma for a second. Where is my Figma file here? Okay, so back into Figma, just so that you're aware, there are other ways you can export just quickly. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but as well, I could say I didn't want to, I don't see why you'd want to do this because it'd be more work, but say I just wanted to export one thing I have. So I've drawn something, which for when we do our logos, this will be handy. I just want this drawing that I've done. So I can grab this one thing. All right, so it wasn't showing for me, and I was like, "What's going wrong?" So what I hadn't done is I'd forgotten I'd moved to my scale tool. You must be in your move tool. So this is in other software. This move tool is called the selection tool. Just so you know, if you're used to Illustrator or Photoshop, what we're looking at is our selection tool here. And when I select something, I can also put export, and you see it just says ellipse 1. And so if I just drew one thing and I wanted to export it, I can also export it a PNG, JPEG. These are image files, or as a PDF as well. And then it's the same thing. I just hit export and I choose where I wanted to export, or I can export a single frame this way. I can't export multiple frames into a single PDF. So if we're making a document for say your assignment that you want it all as one file, the best way is the way that I showed you previously. But just so you know, if I want to take just one image and have it as an image that I place inside something else, this is the way that I would do it. Okay, good luck with your work.